Aloha, it's Debbie Zimmerman, and I'm coming to you from the Ala Moana Hotel in Honolulu. And today I have an incredibly special guest, Mr. Pat Hintz. And Pat was actually the first wellness partner in Amari Global. He's number one. So you might say that Pat is like my great grandfather.
We're gonna go there right off the bat, Deb. Really? That's not gonna be good for my mental wellness.
And but Pat and I also share the fact that we have kids that have special needs, and so we thought we might talk to him today about his journey with Amari and about his daughter Sadie. Yeah. So why don't we start off by just telling us a little bit about Sadie?
Yeah, so she is our whole heart. Like she's a great gal. She's 23. She just turned 23. She was born with a small cerebellum at the base of the brain, which took care of cognitive function, balance, sight, all kinds of things. And it was really weird. We had seen it, been notified of it at one of the ultrasounds that we had, and one side was like 2 centimeters and the other side was like 1.8. So you're like, well, so what? Who cares? And then doctors are like, well, you got to watch out. And we were like, well, whatever Sadie's going to be, whatever God wants her to be, that's who she's going to be, right? So we never got too hung up about it or anything. And then Sadie got here, and she has, outperformed many of the doctors' thoughts or ideas at the time. But she has definitely a need for 24/7 care. Cindy and I have been that for her for forever, her whole life. She has been able to walk with a walker. She communicates very well. She's funny. She's got a sense of humor, and she's, she does many things that a 23-year-old would do. So in a lot of ways, Sadie's 23. In a lot of ways, she's 3. In the last 5 years, she has unfortunately developed seizures, and that has complicated a lot of things, right? But we have seen remarkable improvements just in that side of the equation here because of Amari. And so it's been a great story. But Sadie is, and she's doing well. She has, social circle of friends at a day program that she has. We're very fortunate. We got a chance to have a couple of gals help us now over the last 5 months, because Sadie's done so well on Amari that we've actually been able to engage others in the help and of her care, which has given us great freedom.
Whereas before you had to do it yourself.
Yeah, it was pretty much us. Yeah. It was pretty much the 24/7 deal where it wasn't that we wouldn't trust someone else with her. We just didn't want to put them through that process. Sadie's awesome, but she's a stress machine.
So can you tell me a little bit about how Amari specifically has helped Sadie?
Yes. So one of the things that was challenging for us was that we recognized after the seizure episode started to happen, her sleep pattern got all messed up. So we tried everything. We tried melatonin. We tried, all kinds of things to be able to, we tried different times to go to bed, different temperatures in the room. We put, diffusers in there. We put all kinds of soft music. We put the fan in there, all the things, and it just wouldn't work very well. So I could go in at any point in time during the night, and I could see her moving. So she never fell completely asleep. Now I've learned because of Amari, I've learned that in order to go through sleep cycles, you go into deep sleep and then REM sleep. And you have to, in order to get to REM sleep where you dream, you have to go through deep sleep. And you want to try to do that, 4 or 5 different times a night. And so I knew that wasn't happening, because every time I'd ever go and check on her, I would see that she's still moving. So she has a little bit of an energy tick. Special needs kids have that extra built up neurological energy, and they move. And so if you ever see Sadie on a video, she moves her head like this, like that. And then when I put her down to bed, she would fall asleep that way. So she would put her head on the bed, use a pillow. She doesn't like that, but then she would slap her head against the bed to be able to fall asleep. Well, she'd never fall completely asleep, so she'd move her head slowly at night. Well, it wore the hair off of, she had on that side. So that's where she had a bald spot there. So anybody that has a special needs kid knows this, or person in their life. Sleep deprivation to a special needs individual is a nightmare cocktail. It's a very huge challenge. And so it exacerbates everything. So when Dr. Sean first originally created and told me the products that he was creating long before we even knew everything about the whole and how everything was working or anything like that, he said, hey, and I've got this sleep product that's a non-melatonin based sleep product that has a corngrass extract that's the body's precursor to creating its own melatonin. And I was like, okay, that's all science stuff. I just need to know, does it work? And he goes, oh, it's amazing. It gives better quality sleep, deep sleep, and REM sleep. And I said, do you think I would work on Sadie? And he goes, absolutely. So I said, okay. I said, so I got a bottle of it before we even had a label on it. And he gave me a white label bottle. I said, I'm going to take this home and see, because we were struggling so bad. Sadie would wear out in the afternoon. So she'd go to bed at 5:30 or 6 and then wake up. And she wanted to go to bed at 4, but in the afternoon. But we'd keep her up, and then she'd wake up at 4:30 or 5. And that's a short night for Dad. I mean, at the end of the day. So that was a difficult thing. And she'd be up during the night too. And so anyway, I brought the product home, and Dr. Sean said, give her 2 capsules and see how that works. So the first night I was like, you're not getting 2, you're getting 3. Here we go. So I said, let's try this. And literally, Deb, and Sadie's not going to give me a placebo effect.
Yeah,
she's not going to do that. She didn't know. She's getting it along with all of her other meds, because she got seizure medications and everything going on. So that first night that we gave it to her, that morning, instead of getting up at 4:30 or 5, she didn't wake up until like 6:15. Now, that may not sound like very much to anybody, but it was a huge thing for me. I'm like, oh my gosh. And I was hopeful, right? You sort of like, I wonder if that was the stuff, if that was sleep. And then the next night I was like, okay, you're getting 3 more, Sade. And then the next morning it was 6:45. By the end of the week, we got 7:30. Yeah, I can't tell you how much I still get choked up thinking about it. So it changed everything. So what happened is that she started to go, she still wore out in the afternoon, but she would start to go and she would sleep all the way through. And within 3 months, I never missed a day after that, at that first week. So in 3 months, all of her hair grew back. I could go into her room, even to this day, it's been 2.5 years now. I could go into her room at any time when she's sleeping at night, and she is still like she's sleeping.
She must actually wake up, be much more aware and cognizant,
ready to go,
fresh,
unbelievable,
and more pleasant to be around. Because you can imagine, if you're not sleeping well, how you're going to be while you're awake.
So much more. So here's the deal: what happened? And I think that has a big thing to do with it. But I also think then we started to give her the fundamentals. We went through focus. Okay, self-admittingly, we poured everything into it, as you might imagine, right? We're like, and I asked Sean, I said, can any of this stuff hurt in any way? He said, no. So, and all of it has a purpose, right? So we put it all together. And you guys, what has happened over the last 2 years is that we have not changed her. We dabbled with a little bit of medication. We changed a little bit of her seizure meds and got a little bit of result in her behavioral piece, which was really beneficial. But frequency didn't change all that much. It was still 2 to 3 seizures a day. And with the introduction of Amari products, we've got her seizures now down to about 1 a week. And I know that sounds, and you're like, well, you're the founding wellness partner or whatever. And I'm like, well, I don't really care. All I care about is that my daughter's not having seizures anymore. So I know what is going on. And here's why I knew the gut and the brain thing were connected, is when she would have a seizure, she'd clench up in her head and her eyes would go back, and you could, she'd sort of do that. You could tell what was going on. And we've had her in the EEG things and, the electrodes. You could see the machines going crazy. But if she would do that while she was sitting down, I'd go, and I'd recognize, and I'd go over and I'd hug her. Like I'd hold her and I'd go on my knees on the ground and I'd put my ear on her tummy while that was going on. And Deb, her stomach was exploding. It was like a freight train. It was like, and I'm like, oh, these are connected. These are connected. In no way, shape, or form are they not connected. Like that created such realness to me. And I don't know if I've ever heard that before. I just didn't know it before. Like you knew it before. You had a lot more experience with me than I did in this whole connection thing. So I was like, gosh, Sean said this is the way this works. And so we're really conscious of trying to do the best we can. Life gets in the way, and it's a mess sometimes, and we shouldn't do the fast food thing. We do use it as a treat. We shouldn't really, we're not perfect at it, but we really try to watch what she's eating, because we've noticed that if we can and we continue, then when she eats well and she gets in a good rhythm, then we've been able to get those seizures longer. And it's a combination of sleeping and eating better and doing all those things that a full-bodied able person should do to get better health and mental wellness. We've implemented that with Sadie, and it's been awesome. She's a trooper. She takes all of it with yogurt or applesauce or whatever.
So I can't imagine what benefit your family must have experienced as a result of Sadie's improvement. I mean, we see her getting better, but that's got to be better on your marriage, on your family dynamics, it must have a whole cascade of impacts.
Yeah, I mean, I talk a lot about this, is that it's oftentimes not the person, it's the caregiver that wears out, beforehand, because it's a stressful situation. My beautiful wife handles it gracefully and brilliantly, and she's a hero to me for that. But it's easier. It's when Sadie's in a good place. It's all of our lives are easier. My daughter's lives are easier. She's got an older and a younger sister. Certainly mine is. All of us. It's just, listen, everybody's watching. It's Sadie's world. We just live in it, right? I mean, our day goes the way she goes. If she has a bad day, we're gonna have a bad day. I don't care what we're doing or what we're doing. So the reality is, the more we can have her have a good day, it has a ripple effect. I heard Rich Higby say this one time, as he said that mental wellness is contagious. It doesn't just affect that person. It affects the people around them, the people around them, the people around them. And that's a ripple effect out. Well, on the good side of it, if you can have some results, it doesn't just be positive for that person. It's positive for the caretakers and the people around them, and the people around them, and the people around them. So what it's allowed us to do is to be able to explore the opportunities that maybe we could someday, with Sadie's behavioral things under control, because the more seizures that she had, the sleep deprivation created manic episodes and challenges that were difficult for anybody to handle. So we just handled them. But now we've got a couple of gals who are angels from heaven, dropped in our lap and said they would be willing to help us do something with Sadie, and to be able to have her own life circle, and to have her have some elements of that, and has given Cindy and I freedoms at least 3 or 4 times a day, or 3 or 4 times a week, 3 or 4 days a week, that Sadie has her own independence. That could have never even happened before. Like, there wouldn't have been a chance for that to happen. So yeah, it has a massive effect on everything.
So can you speak to how the Amari products have helped you and Cindy personally?
Yeah, I mean, so the list goes on, right? I mean, one of my favorite products is Relief. I've got a bad basketball knee and a bad golf back. That Relief has been just a godsend. I don't get headaches anymore. I used to get tension headaches at the end of the day, virtually every day for 30 years. Since I started my Amari products, I don't think I've had a headache in, I probably could count on one hand. And it's, everybody that knows me in my life circle knows, I've always had Advil at night at 9:15, and then I just keep working, right? So that's been a huge help. The energy drink I love all the products of Amari. I'm no stranger to nutrition, so for 14 or 15 years prior, I've been introduced and had a good nutrition program going on and things. I've never felt the way that I feel. The clarity, the energy, the level of just feel overall the overall feeling of well-being, I guess is the best way to put it. And if I go travel, which I do quite a bit, every once in a while I'll forget to pack my travel bag of products, and then even after a couple of days, I'm like, dang it, so it's rare that I don't have them with me, but when I do, I can really tell. And for my wife, it's been awesome. Mood has been a godsend for her. It works for her tremendously. It's like an aspirin for stress, and
an aspirin for stress. That's a great way to put my mood. That's good.
Yeah, because you take it every morning to see if you can get a baseline going, and then you just take it as you need it. So if there's going to be a you know, if there's going to be an issue in the day, if there's a stressful situation at work or at home or in whatever, then go ahead and take a couple of them. It'll help you give a real nice calm to it. I've used it. I use a sort of a fun combination of mood and focus before I golf, and it's given me really sort of a nice, like, really cool platform that I haven't experienced before. Because you get all amped up and and have that little bit of anxiety just to be able to see if you can do good and stuff. So anyway, that's what we use it for. And I love all the products of Mari. The new GBX food line. Just real quickly make a shake, and you're getting the right elements for the microbiome, trying to maintain that, trying to control your cravings and your willpower and everything. So when you're on that good path, you can feel it.
Yeah. So I really appreciate all your comments and your candor, and obviously your story is very inspirational. And I just wondered if you have any closing words of encouragement for these families as we wrap up this interview.
Well, I think more than likely, all of us have one thing in common. Or we probably do, and if we don't, we should. That we should try anything and everything to see if we can get results. Because at the end of the day, our whole goal is to have a better situation for everybody involved. Person we're taking care of, that's got some been compromised a little bit. Those of us, and listen, there's no shortage of medical answers. There'll always be an unlimited supply of medical answers. And I think all of us feel like, if there's a way to be able to get a good natural result going, it certainly would be worth the effort and to try to tweak the things and stuff. So I just encourage everybody to say, listen, the results that I hear as I travel across the country have my story very much pales in comparison to what I'm hearing. There are some unbelievable stories. And one of the things we got to do is be careful about, claims of craziness and things like that. Sadie is still Sadie. But a healthier Sadie and a Sadie that's not sleep deprived is a better version of Sadie, right? So we haven't cured anything or anything like that. But what we've done is we've allowed her to be her best. And isn't that what we all want to try to find? And if we can do it naturally, in a way, then gosh, that's like it's a blessing. So that's all. And I would tell everybody, say that everybody's results are individual, and so it's worth the try. I know that I've heard it again and again and again as I've traveled across the country. The stories, if we could get that much movement in some things, it's well worth it. It restores hope a little bit. Well,
thank you for having the energy and the passion to travel across the country to tell this story and come out and visit us in Hawaii too. And thank you for listening, and until next time, malama pono. Take care.